Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. What's up, everyone? Mike Gore-Hickman here, founder of paintergrowth.com, and you're listening to a Painter Growth story on the Painter Growth Podcast. And I'm with my friend and owner that we've been working with for the last 8 months, Mr. Chris Davis, Next Level Painting. What's up, man? Welcome.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely excited. It's funny, I asked you right at the start before we went live here if you ever listened to the podcast before.
Yeah, actually, that's where I first saw you, and you kind of popped up on there and on Instagram, and I was like, okay, what's this guy about? You know, I was a little skeptical, and it was actually funny because one of my painters, you know, that had been with me for a little while left, and he started hitting me up, and he's like, hey man, like I'm about to hit 30K this month, you know, something crazy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And this was Blake, so you know Blake. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, and you know, you just got started in this. And so he's like, no, I'm doing the Painter Growth. They're getting me locked in. So I was like, all right, I got to see what this is about. Joined up, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's sweet. So let's back up, because I remember talking to you about that in Orlando, which was a blast at our last mastermind.
Yeah, it was.
So before you started Painter Growth, like back up, you know, not even just 8 months, but like a year ago, first of all, where are you located again?
Woodstock, Georgia. North of Atlanta.
Got it. That's right. What was your business like at that point?
So when I first started, I was doing about 15K residential, and I had a 15K a month commercial job that was kind of feeding me a lot. And I was kind of getting nervous that, you know, if this big commercial job ended, that I would be kind of, you know, SOL, you know, I'd just be like, what am I going to do now? You know, so it was just feeding me, and it was a big part of my income. So it was kind of really nervous, you know, and I heard a lot of people say, hey, don't let, you know, at least 40% of your income come from one source, because that's not, you know, that's not good if it goes away. So, you know, I joined up, and sure enough, that kind of happened where that fell off. So I had to basically rebuild 15K in residential and commercial on my own to get back up to just 30K a month. So that's kind of where I was at in the beginning of this year, and just slowly building it back up with Rich and the coaches to kind of build up my leads and my pipeline.
Yeah. Let's slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not here yet. We're still pre-Painter Growth.
Okay.
Yeah. We're still pre-Painter Growth. So back, so a year ago, let's just go back there. So what was the business like in general? Your systems, what were you doing in the business?
So I was still on the tools every day, and I was just losing it. You know, I was doing sales, project managing on the tools every day, every week, and just all over the place. And it was like a dumpster fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know, like, you know, maybe God was carrying me through it, but that was about it. You know,
were painting at the time, right?
I was still painting. I was still on the tools at that time. Okay. So, you know, I was slowly getting off of the tools, but I was still having to jump into projects and things like that. And so yeah, at that time.
What were you doing like per month in terms of sales at that time?
So I was averaging 15 to 30 on my own, you know, just with those, with the residential word of mouth that I had built, and that commercial account.
Got it. Cool. And so what happened in your journey where you decided like enough is enough, something has to change? Like what was the lowest part of your journey where you started looking for answers?
Yeah, I guess I just, you know, I had been driving the same van for the whole time, no AC, no heat. I was just like, you know, I had just met, you know, my girlfriend that I'm with now to this day. And it's just like, I was like, man, I got to step it up. I want a family. I want kids. I want to be able to provide. And that's really what kind of sparked me to really want to take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And were you just didn't like felt roadblock? Why didn't you just do more of what you're already doing? Or is it that you didn't know how, or you wanted it done faster?
Yeah, like I just didn't have any systems. My whole system was just word of mouth, and that was it. And I didn't have any anything else. I was just literally just, meeting people and just hoping that, we do a really good job and it would lead to the next job. And it does for the most part. But then, you have these up and down seasons where it's just so unpredictable, and it's really stressful for your guys, trying to keep your guys busy and through the winter and all that and slow time. So it was just more of like, I didn't know what I didn't know at that time, So
we had a feeling there's something better out there.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when my painter, who had been with me for a year or two, just kind of went off his own and started doing just as good as me. Like, after, starting my business in 2021, 3 or 4 years into it, I was just like, how is he doing what took me 3 years to build in, months, So I was just like, okay, there's something that I don't know and I need to figure out what that is. So.
Yeah. So was that your first introduction to us through Blake?
Yeah, but I actually had signed up with a call with you guys, and just, I don't know what happened, but I never ended up going through with it.
Yeah.
And then he was and then I started seeing the podcast, and then he was the third time that I was like, all right. And you know how it is it's like, you got to see the business 3, 4, maybe 9 times until you're like, all right, let me check this out. Let me see if this is legit.
Also, if you know Blake, it's like, man, Blake can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, and he's a great dude, and I was so proud of him that, because I always told him, like, man, you can be your own boss, like, you can do this, and he definitely found a way.
And he did.
Yeah, he did it quicker than me, so I was like, okay, when the master becomes the shifu, they say,
Yeah. So you hopped on another call with us. You're like, all right, let's go, let's do this. How did you wrestle with the idea of like making a pretty significant investment in your business when you weren't, on the most solid ground?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I was ready. I just knew I had to kind of bet on myself, and I had never invested in coaching, but I always, knew a lot of great leaders that always said, great coaching is super important for any, entrepreneur. So I was like, okay, I got a little money coming in that, maybe I can invest towards this instead of, maybe more tools and more, more things that of that nature. I was like, okay, let me just allocate a little bit and see where it goes. So.
Got it. So tell me about your first couple of months with us. What was that like? What did you learn? What did what changed in your business just in the first few months of joining?
In the first 2 months of joining, I remember it being a little bit, if I'm being honest, a little bit overwhelming with all the knowledge, right? Because as soon as you kind of join Painter Growth, it's like, here's the blueprint for your success, and here's all the knowledge. So what I would say is, when I first got into it, it was kind of overwhelming at first, but I just kind of started digesting that material really quickly, and kind of just leaning on my coach to be like, okay, let me just, run through all these videos and these systems and do my best to start implementing the ones that make the most sense right now, right off the jump. And I think it took about a week or two to kind of find, okay, where was my gap at, and what do I need to work on? And for me, it was just really like having documents in place, like having systems, like having, even employee documents and things of that nature, and just getting more legit with all that kind of stuff. And the organization, it was really key. The schedule was super big for me, getting my schedule mapped out. And that has still to this day been one of the biggest things, is just, having that on that multi-layered schedule. Because once you have 3 or 4 crews, like today I have 4 projects going, but I feel good. I've done touches on all these, done quality checks. Everybody's good. Everybody's happy. The guys are happy. I got drinks dropped off here. Everybody's good. Everybody's working. And it's like, cool, I have a second to, hop on with you. But for me, in the beginning, just to stay on track with that, it was just really about digesting all the information I didn't know.
How many painters do you have operating right now?
Right now, we have about 5 crews, and it's a busy season, so a lot of them are busy right now. But we'll probably kind of cycle that down to 2 or 3 crews, in the winter. But I have a really good cabinet spraying team. I have 3 crews of interior and exterior guys. I have a really good drywall team. And so I like to have a lot of those options, and different guys for different quality, type of quality jobs, like, cabinetry.
I'm going to calculate something though. How many painters do you have producing right now?
So Today, you mean, or just?
You have 4 projects going. How many painters?
Yeah. So that would be about 20 guys going today.
20 painters.
Yeah, today. Yeah.
So one was crazy. If you're averaging a $90 an hour charge rate, 50% gross profit right now, while you're on this call with me, you're making $900 an hour in gross profit.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
So it's a crazy month, and like I said, it was a lot. It was a good summer of building on all this progress, and it just really culminated into August for me, and it's just amazing because I'm not losing my hat. I'm doing more than I ever did, and I'm the most calm, and I think that's the biggest key for me.
Tell me a little bit about this recent post that you made in the Slack group. So I'm going to pull it up here. I can pull it up on the screen actually for anyone who is watching. Do you mind if I share it?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So for anyone who's just listening, you can check it out. This is our Slack group. But basically, I'm just going to read it here. So last month, I hit 50K in sales for the month. This month, we'll hit 83K produced and invoiced by Wednesday next week. Also, mostly word of mouth, networking, strategic partners, and job site marketing. And thanks to Rich Watson, who's one of our top coaches here, and all the coaches members, you're going to go through rough patches, keep seeking answers. Many people are posting their success, and I was in the trenches, but we keep fighting and things pay off. So why did you feel like this was the time to make a post like that? This was just on August 12th, 2 days ago.
Well, yeah, man, I think this year I was really struggling with the fact that I lost that big commercial job, right? So then I got back to 30K a month, and it felt like, okay, this is kind of what I was doing before, but not really, because I had to recreate all that business. So really I had created, at least 30K, started averaging 30 to 40, and then it started climbing to 50 last month. And I was like, okay, now we're getting some traction. And then this month just went parabolic, and I almost did 50K in the first week. And, by next week, by the time I posted that yesterday, and I closed another job right after that for another 5K that's going next Tuesday and finishing Wednesday. So actually it'll be closer to 90K by next Wednesday, just, if I don't do anything else for the month, which we still have half the month left. So, today. So anyways, for me, that was just crazy. I was just like, okay, and sometimes things take a little bit longer. And that was the key with me. It's like, okay, maybe I'm not seeing this immediate growth, right? But it's like one time I talked to Jesse, like last week, he just hit me up and he's like, hey, is there anything I can help you out with today? You know how he is. He just like, he's like a mind reader. So I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I do have a question for you. I said, what is the one, you know me well, Jesse. So like, what's the number one thing that's keeping me from, parabolic growth? And he was just like, how's your foundation? He's like, is your foundation truly solid enough for exponential growth? And it just, man, it got me fired up, and just was like, all right, I'm back on my system, cleaning it up. And then I just kept getting blessed, like with so many good jobs and just closing them on the spot, which is another thing I never did before. And we do now, and it's just like clockwork, and it's been amazing. So this month it really hit my heartstrings, like, wow, like all this work is actually paying off, and it's just beautiful to watch. So
yeah, that's incredible, man. You put in the work for sure. You had the patience. Not everyone has that level of patience and commitment to themselves. Walk me through the mindset component, because you're part of our mindset community in Painter Growth. So how has that, because that was probably an unexpected thing that you didn't think you were going to get or be a part of. So what has specifically the mindset work done for you, and how's that impacted your life and your business?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, that has been the biggest game changer for not only my business, but just my life. I mean, as soon as I started the intuitive accelerator, it really locked me into like, okay, this is like lifelong growth, not just, for the painting business. It's more about the whole total of your life, and like the quality of your life as a business owner as well, and your mindset. So it's really funny because this week there's a lot of synchronicities going on. When I first started with Jesse on the intuitive accelerator, he brought up this word equanimity, and I have put it it's on my back screen of my computer, and it's been on there all year. and it just says equanimity in the definition, which is basically like, keeping your composure and mental calmness, in a very difficult situation, which is running a business, right? Or any business. So it's just keeping that calmness has been my biggest focus for this year, because I can be a hothead, I'll admit it. I have a short fuse, and it's like, being a business owner, you're bringing a lot of that home. It's not good for your home life. It's not good for anything, so, just bringing that mental clarity is what it did for me. And, other business owners and entrepreneurs have been bringing that word up to me this week, and it's not a word you hear often. So it's like, just a subtle reminder that I'm on the right page and I'm really just focusing on the right things. And for me, I want to have a good quality life. Like when I first started my business, it was, I want to get back to more meditation and music. But, that's kind of what my goal was. It's like, I want to be able to do my music more. I want to meditate more. And it's like, boom, here I am. Jesse's got us doing, multiple hour meditations a week, 10 to 15 minutes in the morning and night. And it's just, that's been such a game changer. It's like for my sleep, for my health, and my business and all my relationships. So, I'm more than grateful. And it honestly kept me locked into the program really, really tightly too, because it was like, man, this is that next level edge for me.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Thanks for sharing that. It's wild. Like when I first started running my businesses, I never thought mindset and like that, the stories you tell yourself have such an impact. And then, started working with Jesse and realizing how much impact they truly do have on the results that you can see for yourself.
Yeah. And he's just such a beast at that kind of stuff. And just, getting past these major hurdles that I think are very, they're very, for high level individuals, is very important to, focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. So now with all that being said and all this momentum that you have in your business, building it on such a strong foundation with all the right systems and people, how do you feel about the future of your business now?
Man, it's just opened it up to just a whole new level. And, I used to think like the wrong way about business, like, oh, I just need to get to $1 million a year. And it's like, okay, but like, what about your profit? It's like, I'd rather have a, 500K business and make 125,000 a year and be happy, but it's like, for me, it's kind of just added just so much like of a higher scope. It's like, I'm playing chess now, and I'm thinking ahead, playing chess, not checkers, we're thinking ahead a lot more steps. And it's a lot more less anxiety, it's a lot more of a calm experience when you really are focused on your goals and you're very specific about your goals, and I think that's one thing that the coaching really helps is like, what are your goals? Let's develop those too, and let it be known. And just having someone knowing your goals and helping you achieve that just kind of, I feel like, exponentially helps you grow as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, what would you say to another contractor, in your shoes right now, or in your shoes from last year, who's like maybe skeptical or unsure, on the fence, doesn't want to spend the money, doesn't want to, put coaching on a credit card. They're just like, but they want to change. Like, what would you say to someone like that?
I would say, if you have it in your head that you want to take your business to the next level, you won't regret it. Because once I started, investing in coaching, I realized, man, I'll never stop getting coaching. I'll never not, want to receive more coaching. And I think any high level individual, once they get a taste of what coaching can do, they'll never stop, because there's always so much to learn. And it's just like, what can you lose? It's like, you might as well bet on yourself, because no one else is coming to save you. It's like, no one is coming to save you. You have to do it. And it's like, just because you start investing in coaching, it doesn't mean automatically things, are just magically, you're making money. It's like, you have to do the work. You have to be ready to do the work. And if you're ready to do the work, coaching to me is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But you got to get to that level of like, am I ready to be coached? Am I ready to actually learn the things I don't know? Because you see it the most. It's like, people that are ready, boom, magical things start happening. But it's like if you're fighting it and you're uncoachable, that can make it a little difficult. So I think that's might be where some pitfalls, can occur. But it's like as long as you can be true to yourself and you're ready to go to that next level, it's like coaching is the answer.
How do you think someone finds out if they're ready or not?
I mean, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know what I mean? It's like you got to hit that point, I think, too. It's like, sometimes people have to learn on their own a little bit until they might be ready for it. But I mean, I think it's like you hit that certain roadblock where it's like, man, I can't make over this amount. Like I'm only making 30, 40K a month. I want to, or maybe it's 10 to 20 and you just want to make 30. It's like everyone hits a roadblock for some reason in the money that's coming in, and it's either quality, systems, any number of these things could be the pitfall that's holding you back. But it's like, if you are hitting that cap where you're like, man, I feel like I can't go over 15K a month or whatever it is, then you're ready. It's like, you gotta learn the things you don't know.
And what would you say to someone who is thinking about joining Painter Growth, but just on the fence?
Just do it. Let's go. Come join the community and see what we're all about, man. I mean, the community is the greatest thing. It's like being a business owner can be the most loneliest feeling because no one understands what you're going through. No one cares, actually. No one cares about what you're going through. So you might as well join a community that does care and is going through the same thing. I mean, because that's been huge for me, where it's just like even members I can bounce ideas off of or hit them up on the chat and be like, hey, you seem to do a lot of these kind of projects. Like, what do you think of this? And it's just really cool. Every time I tune in to a call or any other Slack channel, I'm learning things. Like I'm just learning things. So, it just gives you a lot of ideas as well and keeps everything fresh. Like what's the cutting edge, and so, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate that. Any last, words that you want to say to anyone who's listening from the outside right now?
Yeah, man. And when it comes to this game, I want to use my motto I want to do a little plug for my motto, but my business motto is never settle, go next level. And it's like Painter Growth is the pinnacle of that. It's the upper echelon of painters and business owners in that field. And it's an amazing community. So I'm more than so grateful for everything that I've learned and continue to learn. I'm locked in with you guys. So, you guys got me to fix my budget and everything. So I got the Painter Growth in the budget, everything's working smoothly and, it's going to keep working if I work it. So, I just really encourage people out there. If you're a high level performer and an entrepreneur, just lean into some coaching. And if you're in the painting industry, like this is where it's at. So
love it. Well, appreciate you, Chris, and stoked to see you in about 6 weeks in Phoenix. It's gonna be good to hang out, grab a couple of beers, and walk away with a plan.
Can't wait, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.